Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm here in the 10-6 kitchen and I'm gonna watch the girls make some amazing churros from Disneyland. So follow me and we'll come watch.
Hi everybody.
Welcome back to our house. Another day doing some Disneyland fun recipes.
Yep. And we again missed you guys and so glad that we have a way to touch base with everybody and just kind of share what we've been doing during quarantine. We are going to do these churros today and we're going to hopefully answer how hard they may be to make. And
Kind of intimidating, right?
It sounds a little intimidating. And do they really taste like Disneyland's? I've got my ingredients here. We're gonna have a link for it below, so that'll be that will be really easy for you to hop on and get that recipe. And we're gonna go through our little mise en place here.
Mama loves her mise en place.
Yeah.
Place, potato, I don't know. But
Yeah.
it's the good stuff in cooking. This is the most important part, is preparation.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever been in a recipe and your heat's on, heat of the moment, and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't have this. And
I forgot this.
So, mise en place.
That means that everything's in its place. It's ready to go. So, you know, all these cute bowls, there is a big purpose for these. They are really important when you're cooking. So to start off with here, guys, we've got to start. Ooh, yeah, baby.
So why the pan was hot is because we do have to bring water, butter, and sugar to a boil. And it says specifically to a boil, not a simmer. So you want high heat. And we found like there's no really right, you know, time-wise that this is going to take you to boil. Maybe I would say about five minutes the most.
With my stove, yeah.
I know. We miss our
I miss my gas burner from the restaurant, but yeah.
So
this will take a minute.
We're gonna wait for this to come up to a boil, and then we'll show you what's next. So there's not a lot of liquid in here, so it looks pretty violent, but it's perfect temperature. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn off our heat. And then, so we're making a pot of choux, and this is like, it's called choux pastry. You know, eclairs,
Cream puffs.
Oh, cream puffs, yeah.
Cream puffs.
So basically you're just gonna dump in your flour.
It's like that chewy dough texture, right?
Vanilla first, excuse me. A little bit of vanilla, a little bit of salt. And then you're gonna dump in your flour. Okay, now this is gonna look really freaky. It's gonna clump up, and it scares a lot of people. This is why pot of choux is kind of intimidating. So, give this a good stir. It says to stir for 30 seconds. Just to kind of get
seriously starts
in.
looking like a paste.
Like a little paste.
Yeah, and that's what you want.
Okay, and so they recommend a wooden spoon, which I totally agree with, but you can probably use like a spatula too if you wanted.
I think it's kind of fun dough to play with. I mean, isn't that kind of fun to stir right now?
I know.
The texture is just
so cool.
It's kind of cool. Yeah.
Okay, so that is your pot of choux. We're going to leave this off the heat though, for it says 10 minutes. So give yourself a little break, drink a mimosa, which I wish I could have one right now, but soon.
Let's talk about the temperature on your oil for these churros. It's actually really important that you do know the temperature of your oil. I have my handy dandy instant read thermometer, which I don't know how I live without it. It's really quite the tool. But there are other ways to temp your oil. This recipe really should be 350 for the temp. It will tell you to take it to 375. We tried that and it burnt the outer portion of the churro and the inside was doughy. So we are almost there. Look at that. Now, if you don't have one of these handy dandy instant read thermometers, there's other ways to take your temp of your oil. There's a candy thermometer that, you know, a lot of people have those on hand. And then there's this little guy. Check your hubby's toolbox. But just make sure that you know that that's really important. When you're choosing a vessel to do deep frying in, make sure it's kind of a wider based low boy. It's gonna give you like real consistent heat and enough room for things to swim around and fry. So
that means our pot of choux has sat for 10 minutes. He's been resting, hanging out. So it really doesn't look like it's changed much. Like it looks the exact same from when we left you. So now, choux paste. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add our eggs, and it says to add 1 egg at a time and incorporate it. Now you don't want to overwork this. There's flour in here, so it kind of gets tricky if you tend to overwork stuff. So just as literally to combine. We have the most awesome ghetto hand mixer that's been in my mom's kitchen forever.
25 years.
But honestly, we still use it at the restaurant too. Like foolproof, right?
Yeah.
So literally you're just gonna take, like if you have a hand mixer, I will say if you don't, it might be a little hard. Whisking is, I mean, workout, but you can totally do it with a whisk. So we're just gonna add 1 egg at a time.
Tell me why you crack an egg in a bowl.
So always, this is so important. Also important
I learned the hard way.
to crack on a flat surface too. You never want to crack an egg on the side of like a pan or anything. It shatters that shell. Also, crack it in a bowl, because if you do get an eggshell, you can just pick it right out. So
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna go a little bit at a time here. Kind of work it in. Okay. So it says literally to combine. So, and it's kind of steaming still. Don't be afraid. It's gonna kind of be a little warm. We had it on a boil, so it's pretty hot. Okay, so just to combine. We did this in our all-clad. It's obviously not Teflon coated, so I would not do this in like a non-stick pan. It's just not good.
You would mix in a vessel that
Yeah.
you could stir up that coating and get it inside your
Yeah.
food.
So
this is all steel, so
it's
we're good
totally
to go.
fine. But if you don't have one, do like a stainless steel bowl or glass bowl.
Yeah.
Totally fine.
Mix it up.
All right, so here we are. We're good to go. We're gonna actually take our piping bag, and we're going to spatula this in. Now, again, this is a tool recipe. I think this is actually more tools and
Yeah, it
ingredients,
is, actually.
which is kind of funny. So I have my excessively large piping bag. It's like 24 inches. It's ridiculous, right? You don't need this big of one, but like a pastry bag, and then a star tip. So, however, we found this is my big star tip. This is actually a little small for churros. So, I would say
I think it's a lot small.
you don't have to be nice.
Yeah.
So they make churro star tips. Actually, I found one on Amazon. I think it's like $8. So literally, I googled churro star tip, and they're fat. So I would say recommend that for this recipe. But we're totally gonna use our little tiny baby. Worst case scenario, if you don't have a cool piping bag, literally take like a Ziploc bag on the side bias and pipe everything into your bag and then cut off the tip. It's gonna be a circular shape, but I mean,
And there's some drawbacks to that with churros.
I know, because the surface area, you know, you get that really crunchy kind of on the little spikes.
The ridges help capture the cinnamon and the sugar.
It's like a burst.
Yeah.
So,
They serve a purpose.
will you grab me a spatula?
Sure.
Thank you. So, this is kind of what it looks like, guys. So I'm gonna have Mom kind of help me.
I'll hold the bag.
Help me do this. And you literally can just kind of use gravity to plop it on in there.
Do I gotta watch the tip?
No, no.
Okay.
No fear of anything leaking out of this, because you guys can see it's pretty thick consistency. Normally if you have like fondant or frosting, that's the only time you're gonna worry about something leaking out of the tip. So you're gonna use gravity and kind of shove that bad boy down there. Again, this bag is so excessive, right? I don't know why, but I love it. Okay, so how are we looking on temp, Mama?
Let me check it one more time. It was getting kind of hot.
Yeah, so I would, even though like
So-
you just checked it, I would double check it because oil changes so fast.
Oh.
See, we're looking pretty hot.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing too, is
The
that
minute we add this, it's going to lower the temperature of the oil. That happens. So actually, we're probably okay. I've got the heat off.
and it's kind of like pancakes. I found is like the first couple they're not as good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you got to get the duds out of there.
Get the feel for it. Yeah.
So Mom's gonna cut for me while I pipe. So they say to pipe in 6-inch increments.
Yeah. Is that what the
But honestly, you could
instructions
say. I did see another person that did this recipe. They did like little churro bites, which was really cool.
Oh yeah.
So you could do really, really any kind of shape you want or size. So we'll just do the one here just to test it out. And then you cut for me, Mama, whenever you're ready.
Okay.
Okay, so we got a little circular boy, it looks like. Actually, looks like a candy cane.
Candy
We're gonna kind of let him go and just kind of see how our oil works. It's always good to do like a little tester one. That way you don't waste your complete like hard work.
Yeah.
And then you're like, this didn't work at all. So
Okay, guys. So here's our little test churro. the little churro that wanted to be a candy cane. Anyway, who cares what shape it is really, but he's looking pretty good. He's swimming around here getting nice and golden brown. Watch your color, that's how you know when things are done. You want it to be a deep golden brown. And the recipe tells you to fry these guys for 5 minutes. Yeah, about 5 minutes is what it takes. Again, when we tested them, higher temp on the oil and not necessarily giving it the full 5 minutes. We had a doughy center. Yeah, didn't work. So
Doubly.
this guy's almost ready to come out.
Now you'd think like, oh my god, it's gonna be so greasy if I don't, paper towel it first, but actually the oil will evaporate, and this is actually the opportune time where everything will stick. So you really actually just want to put it right into your cinnamon and sugar. This
From
is
the pot.
From the pot.
Yeah.
So this is all it is. It's just cinnamon and regular sugar. And I'm sorry, I like a lot of sugar, so why not just put a bunch on there? More sugar, I guess.
That's perfect.
Yeah. So
This little handy dandy guy is called a spider, and this is the tool it's the optimal tool for deep frying and doing things like this, fried dough items, beignets. If you don't have one at home, you can use it like a slotted spoon.
absolutely.
Yeah, something
Easy.
like that.
Yep, absolutely. But just
Gotta-
make sure it definitely has those holes to let that oil out, because that is another secret too.
I'm gonna test this baby.
Okay, that's why you're here, Mel.
I know. I get to eat all the food.
Mel's she's honest. She'll tell
Uh-huh.
us. Wow.
Oh, they're perfect.
Oh, they're so good.
They're so good. They're hot. There's tons of sugar and cinnamon. It's delicious.
They're not making the.
They're the best.
I'm pregnant. I'm the one that should be eating.
I know. I'm sorry.
Another thing to think about is you're maintaining your oil temperature, right? So I'm just like most Americans. I don't have anything but a glass top stove. I missed my gas stove from the restaurant for sure. It's easier to do temperature maintenance, but if your oil's getting too hot, and again, don't do this without a thermometer. You got to know how hot your oil is. You can turn it off for a little while. And the nice thing about these cast iron pots, if you use that for deep frying, they maintain their heat for quite a while. So you're gonna have a nice hot oil for a bit.
So our oil's kind of looking good. So I think we're gonna knock the rest of these out. Keep on frying, and you want me my cutter?
Keep on frying.
Keep on frying. Okay, so obviously we're not doing one at a time. That would take forever. So you got your oil hot, knock them out. However, when you do pipe these out, kind of pipe them like in a line like you would be, and then cut, kind of makes them more straight. If you kind of just sit there and pipe them, they're gonna go in a circle. Also, they will kind of stick together initially if you just pipe them
If they're bumping
together.
into each other.
So
Yeah.
make sure with your spider, you kind of just let them fish around a little bit. They're friends, but they're not super close.
Yeah.
This is
not the time
This
to
is a
buddy
6
up.
foot rule for quarantine, guys.
Okay, guys, I think these are ready to come out. We've done a few more. Look at how skinny they are,
I
though.
know, they're so little.
They're tiny,
It's okay. They're
guys.
really cute.
But again, that would be fixed if we had the right size tip
Yeah.
for your pastry bag. And yeah, we'll do that someday. We're gonna get that.
Absolutely. And see how dark they are? Like, I know that's intimidating to be like, oh, those look really dark, but that's what it is. That's where that crunch comes from. And the inside, that means it's nice and done.
The
So,
inside should be done.
yes.
Yep.
Give me more sugar. Because that's all I'm craving now. It's weird. I went from craving like all salty things, and now all I want is sugar. So I don't know all the
It's a girl.
the wives' tales,
It's a
right?
girl?
All the wives'
Really?
tales. I
Is
don't
that
know.
what it is?
Things they're like boy, girl. I don't know. Anyways.
Oh my gosh. These are it,
Oh,
guys.
great.
They taste like the Disneyland Churro.
They do.
The crunches
They really
there.
do.
And the flavor. I mean, I was a little intimidated thinking, boy, this seems like a really simple recipe, but
The smell. There's nothing better than the smell of the
No.
churro.
Delicious.
Oh my
I'm on
gosh.
my 10th one. So. Uh-huh.
Again, you're taking food
Oh
away
my
from
gosh,
the
these are so good.
Oh my gosh.
So good.
Mm.
nice work.
Yeah.
Not doughy at all.
You
No.
can do it. And
Oh
you
my
can-
God.
Crunchy.
And you
They're
didn't do
delicious. And I didn't
You didn't do
bump
anything.
at all.
You did
I'm just
nothing.
eating.
This is their relationship. Okay guys, so before you do this recipe, there's actually some tools you need. It's more like a tool recipe than like ingredients, so tools are very important. So I love my handy dandy piping bag, but it's really excessive and large, right? But so you don't need this big of a one, but it's just like a pastry bag. Star tip too. This one's a little small, but it will work. There are churro tips you can get, like on Amazon and stuff. But
We're getting one of those.
and we're gonna get one for sure, because the shape is important. So if you don't have a piping bag, you can totally use a Ziploc, just a nice gallon Ziploc bag. Put all your ingredients into it, cut off the tip, and then it will just pipe out the side. Now, you won't get the nice churro shape, but if you gotta make a churro, like, do it. Why not? We are gonna do 2 quarts of peanut oil. So it has a high smoke point and it's good flavor, so we love to use it, but if you don't, you know, allergies are weird nowadays with all the peanut allergies, so I totally get if you don't want to use peanut oil. You can totally use canola or a blend, but just literally don't use olive oil. Absolutely stay away from it. That is for flavor most of the time and not cooking like a lot of people think.